Do you ever experience a piece of media where you just know the second it ends that it's one of your favorite things ever? And if you try to talk about literally anything else, your brain will just revert to whatever you just experienced recently? Well, that's me right now, because I just finished Trails in the Sky First Chapter Remake about 20 hours ago. Before I start talking about this might be a bit of a weird video. Usually everything I do on this channel is super structured. I have a script in pretty much all but one video, and even then I had a guideline for what I'm gonna say. I haven't been able to organize my thoughts on this at all. So I'm just gonna talk. And God knows how much I'm gonna edit it or how many cuts I'm going to have to make. But regardless, I'm gonna make this video because I haven't been moved by a video game like this ever, with one exception, and that's Persona 3. And my channel is literally named after it. It is based off it. The logo that my channel is the clock hitting 12 in the dark hour. I'm obsessed with Persona 3 because that game kind of just immediately dug itself into my mind. The second it finished, the second the credits started rolling, I knew exactly how important it would be to me going forward. And that's what I just did with Trails in the Sky First Chapter. And apparently second chapter clears first chapter very easily. So God knows what I'm in for. For those who don't know, the Trails series is a relatively niche saga of sorts. It's, I don't know the exact number, more than 10 games, in between 10 or 15 games right now. Many arcs long with many different characters, but it's an overarching story that I can't go into details with because I only know vague things about it. And I've always been interested in the series, but I've never been able to actually give it a shot until recently. And in hindsight, I hate that I've waited this long. It is a turn-based RPG with some action mechanics, similar to Metaphor, but actually way better in this recent iteration of it. And I know pretty much everything on my channel is Atlas related. This will be the first not Atlas related video I ever make. I think I said in the last video that for now I'm an Atlas exclusive channel, but I can't have a YouTube channel and not talk about what I just saw. I'm gonna go over just a few things that I like about the game, and I think that people who like Atlas games will probably like this game a lot. I don't like just assuming that, but there are some things that even just this game alone does a lot better than Persona. Some things it doesn't, but a lot of things that people look for specifically in Persona. And even in a sense, Shin Megami Tensei, if you're more interested in world building, I think Trails does a lot of the things that I look for in games very well. So for me personally, I think that this just hit all of the marks. There's no perfect game, but this was a 10 out of 10 experience for me. So basically this video is just going to be me trying to convince you to play it. Trails, like I said, is a very niche series. The creators, Falcom, are a relatively very small company. If you don't know them from Trails, you might know them from the Ys series, maybe the Xanadu series. That was my experience with them before this. I had played Falcom games, a few of them before this. I'd played Ys 8, I've played Tokyo Xanadu, and I played about 5 hours of Trails of Cold Steel 3 on the Switch because they promoted the hell out of that game. But I was very confused because, like I said, this is a saga in a very real term. You cannot just walk in the middle of the series and expect to know what's going on. And apparently specifically in Cold Steel 3, it is not a good starting point. First off, the characters in this game are just so good. I will say that similar to Persona 3, it's a fairly slow burn, but it explodes near the end in a way that even Persona 3 doesn't. The last 2 hours of this game, which I'll save for the end, I'll put in a spoiler warning, because I can't make this video and not talk about what I just witnessed. The last 2 hours of this game is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, in a very good way. I'll get to everything else before that. First off, the music Obviously, I'm an Atlas elitist when it comes to music. That doesn't change even with Falcom. But if even before this, I kind of knew this, that if there is a studio, gaming company, whatever, that pound for pound can challenge Atlas, it is Falcom. They're just really good. I've listened to their stuff for a while. Definitely not the same flavor of music, not as contemporary, but if you just enjoy good music, you can't go wrong with Falcom. They're so good. Like genuinely, the music in this game is like a 95 out of 100. Like I would give most SMT games, like Kazuka composed games. I wouldn't say they're better. I'd say maybe marginally not as good, but like that's literally comparing like a 9.5 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. The gameplay is so good. It's repetitive maybe in a way. I feel like all turn-based RPGs are repetitive in some way. And maybe the depth of strategy is not as much in something like mainline SMT and Persona. It's definitely not as customizable. Even though the court system is fairly intricate, it doesn't have a library of functions and personas and demons and assets that only SMT and Persona games could really have. But again, it is super, super satisfying gameplay loop. Nothing special in terms of like no crazy concept really. It's a real-time action in the overworld, and you could either defeat enemies straight up that way, aside from bosses, or you can at any point, whether it's after you stun them or when you first start engaging them, or even before you've engaged them, you can change the battle to a turn-based format where it operates sort of like a tactical RPG of sorts, but not really. There's no like grid system or anything like that, but it's basically like you can move around freely, and your certain attacks have certain radiuses, and you can attack enemies that way. You exploit weaknesses, and you have to fill up stun bars so you can stun enemies, and then do follow-up attacks that you can continue to just stack. And it would be a lot to just get into it, but backed up by a pretty interesting, like not the best, but like pretty interesting system when it comes to customizing what spells you have and what elements you have specifically. The gameplay is really good, just really good. Like there's not much else to say about it. It's flashy. The one thing, and I'll bring this up again, the one thing that always stopped me from getting into Trails specifically was two things. One, you're supposed to start with this game right here. This is the quintessential starting point. It's the start of the saga. It is the first game. And before this, it was a game that on first look is a bit dated. I'm not like such a zoomer that I can't enjoy those kinds of games, but there are certain things that really push me towards games like that. Like I really appreciate voice acting. The original doesn't have voice acting that much, aside from a few battle lines. Definitely not the most visually striking game. It looks nice, don't get me wrong, but the remake really, really puts some sauce on it. Like in a way that I didn't even think Falcom was capable of. It looks great. Like animations are smooth. I played on PS5. The models look great. The environments look great. Again, not to the level of uniqueness that you see in Atlas games, but they're just really good. It's maybe a bit more par for the course when it comes to other JRPGs in terms of area locations and what those might look like. If there is an underwhelming aspect to this game, it's that the locations themselves are pretty run-of-the-mill. They look nice. They're not anything special. I guess that's the one. It's not even a critique. It's more of just I guess it could be better. But again, this is a one-to-one recreation of a game that came out in 2004, I believe, from a studio with a very low budget. The remake just looks really good. The cutscenes, in certain spots, like they don't look the best, but they're still always passable. They focus on the things that matter. And especially during the pivotal parts of the game, like the important cutscenes, they look amazing. I guess maybe another criticism I have, I like dubs in my games. I always play my games in English because I just like watching what's happening fully and like not having to glance at subtitles even for a millisecond. I know that sounds stupid, but I really do enjoy dubs, and unless one is terrible, then I'm not averse to watching sub. I've watched sub for anime a lot, but when I'm playing games, I do prefer dubs. The dub itself, like the voice acting, is really good. Like it really is. The localization, however, at some points isn't great. I'm like 99% sure that the fictional country that this is based on, liberal, is not called liberal, and they call it liberal the entire time. It's a bit off-putting. But aside from that, aside from a few localization blips, I think that the localization in general is done well because they have some really good voice actors. If you're a fan of Johnny Young Bosch, he's a great voice actor. I always love his work. He's the secondary protagonist in this game. There's definitely other voice actors that I recognize their voices, but I just don't know their names. But they have a good cast for this, and they didn't cheap out on that. Segueing into maybe my favorite part of this game, the characters. I will emphasize this to you again. If you play Persona and some other Atlas games for the character writing, this is right up your alley. The protagonist, Estelle, is amazing. And I'm not going to go into the side characters because I think people should experience this game as blind as possible when it comes to the writing, which is why in a bit I'll bring up a spoiler warning, but not yet. But yeah, the characters are just so well done. They're so unique personally. They bounce off each other so well. They're intriguing. There's amazing world building. Like, I'm only one game into this, and I know some things about the Trails series that are unfortunately spoilers, but at the same time, I know that world building is the creme de la creme of what this is supposed to bring to the gaming industry. Like, you won't find more extensive world building, certainly, than in Trails. And the world building and character writing kind of mesh together. There's like power systems. The heroes are called bracers, and they have like certain ranks. Like the protagonists, they're working their way up to become a senior bracer, but they're junior bracers. And then once you get to senior bracer, there's like 5 or 7 different tiers of bracers, and later in the game they get into who that is. After you've gotten to learn about a certain character, they'll tell you about how they rank within the world of bracers that extend even beyond the country of the fiction that you're experiencing right now, and it'll maybe reference something that will be brought up in the Crossbell arc or the Calvert arc 10 games from now. It's a little bit of a slow burn. It's still enjoyable regardless. Like, even like not even like bringing up the Persona 3 comparison. I think Persona 3 comparison is like a slog. Like, Persona 3 is a slog at certain points. At no point is this game a slog. It's just slow. And then near the end, it just turns the accelerator on to like 1,000. It's not done awkwardly in any way. It's built up perfectly. And with that, I will get into the spoilers, because honestly, the reason why I made this video is, one, I wanted to talk about the ending. And again, I just want to convince people to play this game. Again, Trails is niche, and I want as many people to buy this game as possible. Like, I'm going full show mode. You need to buy this game if you like JRPGs, so I can get the Crossbell duology remakes. That's literally what half of this video is about. Getting into spoilers, what the fuck was that ending? I never try to use swear words or whatever. I do that a lot in my personal life, but there's no other words for that. Like, what the hell was that? In a good way. Like, there were 3 moments, not even just the ending itself. There were 3 moments in the last hour of gameplay of the game in general that just like put me back on my ass, honestly. And I'll rank them, and they happened in order. The first one, like the third most crazy thing that happened that I thought was amazing, was Cassius showing up after the final boss fight. At a certain point, I thought it was obvious he was going to show up again, because they were just gassing him up so much. They're doing it so much that it would be cheesy if they did it. Like, they might as well just find something else to do, because it would just be so obvious. And they didn't do that, and it was still so cool regardless. It was still like amazing, and a lot of that was the scene itself, like the cinematic direction in that scene, the cinematography, the audio, the dialogue, the animations of the attacks when Richard is fighting off the Reverie or whatever it's called. Yeah, it was just so good. Like, that was probably my favorite scene in the game in terms of just like watching the scene. I was like just so hyped up for that. The second one was Professor Alba, who was obviously sus the whole game. Again, like not something that like came out of nowhere. Like Professor Alba was obviously sus the entire game, but not sus in a way where it was like, again, I had heard the name Ouroboros all the time. Obviously, I have a lot of Twitter mutuals and people on Discord who play Trails. So I've seen these things before and I've heard names and blah, blah, blah. So I know how important Ouroboros is. When I found out that Alba is like a bigwig in Ouroboros, like my jaw hit the freaking floor. Like seriously, I was like, what the hell? And that came alongside Joshua. Obviously, the way he was built up, he had trauma, but like that's like some Danganronpa shit. Like that was some like excessive trauma. Like this doesn't sound realistic type trauma, which again, I don't mind in my fiction. Like that's what fiction is for. Just going all out and like in a game where you have such immense world building and you flesh it out properly, you can do that without it coming across as unrealistic or too much or whatever. Like it felt very real when all those things about Joshua were revealed, and I love Joshua. Estelle's great. Like seriously, like Estelle might be one of my favorite protagonists ever, but I really love Joshua. I might like Joshua a little bit more. Maybe it's just because of a Johnny Yong Bosch bias, because I'm a fan of his work, but he was just so good. And going into the ending, the final scene of the game, that was the moment when I realized, like, wow, like this game or this series, like this is what this game was for me when it comes to like Persona 3 and me getting into Atlas games, like in general. I first played Persona 3. I was in high school. I was like 16. I played FES. It was like 2018, 2017, something like that. And I was just so, I remember when that game ended, I like literally, I went into the shower and I just like was just talking to myself, like, what was that? Like, what did I just watch? Like, what did I just look at? And I got the exact same reaction out of that. That was the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen. Genuinely. Like, I knew, because again, I've known about this series, and if there's one thing that everybody says about FC, the ending is insane. It's an insane cliffhanger. It's the most like insane thing you'll ever see. I was building it up. I was like, this better be amazing. Like, this better blow my mind. And it did. It did something beyond that. Like, I can't even describe it as blow my mind. Like, that scene, again, like treads the line perfectly of like, this is almost too much, but it's not. I expected something to happen bad between Joshua and Estelle. Like, but that was just gut-wrenching. Like I feel sick. Like I finished the game. I'm looking at my clock right now. I finished it 22 hours ago, like almost exactly. I'm sick. Like I feel disgusting. Like, and that's, again, I don't like being hyperbolic when it comes to like talking about media and stuff. Like, this is why this is such a out of left video for me. I only cover Atlas games, blah, blah, blah. And just like, I need to make this video because it's like, I can't not just like vent about this. Like, that was insane. And then it hits you with the credits right after. Like, I don't even want to go into like analyzing it or whatever. Like, what is there to say? Like, what are you going to analyze there? Like, talk about like how well they built it up. Yeah, they built it up amazing, like amazing. And it all just poured out like emotionally. And again, I'm not a sucker for like even like romantic shit in video games. Like usually I could go without it, but like that was ridiculously well done. And I watched it back in the original version of it. Again, I have respect for the original version. As a Fez enjoyer, I could sympathize with people who prefer the original game. I really do. The way they did it in the remake, cinematography wise, is just like, it was so good. It was paced perfectly. The voice acting was perfect. The nittiest of nitpicks, I could not find a thing that told me that like this specific atom of this scene isn't good. I just needed to say how good that was. Support Falcom all you can, because like similar to Atlas, I've always respected Falcom despite not being like quote unquote like a deep fan of their games. Because of the position they're in as a company, they have a lot of artistic integrity, and I think that's something that's very important and something that's waning in the industry right now. Off of one game alone, I've gained such an appreciation for what they're trying to do here, and I cannot wait until second chapter. I don't even know if I could wait until September when the remake comes out. I know that once that comes out, I'm playing third chapter straight up, like Trails in the Sky the third, like straight up. I'm not waiting for a remake. I'll probably play the Crossbell games before they do the remake. That's probably happening in like 2030 or something. I'm not waiting that long. And I'm going back to Cold Steel, baby. So yeah, that's all I had to say. Happy New Year. And yeah, that was peak.